Good morning and glad to have you on the program Perspectives this morning. We apologize for the delay in takeoff of the program. Just trying to put some things together so that we don't have issues while we carry on with the program. But glad that everything is sorted out and so we can take off with the program this morning. And what's news and what's big coming for Kaduna State would be about the local government elections that we'll be having come June 5th. That's the excitement that is on air now. And we'd like to go a little bit back about local government elections. You recall that by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we have three tiers of government: the federal, state, and the local government. And the local government is meant to, as close as it is to the people and with the people. And so there are, issues that have been with the local government. Autonomy of the local government is still a problem with us. And even when we know that the federal, the third tier of government has its autonomy, how well are the state governments allowing the local governments to perform to optimal level? These are issues with local government. And so we've seen over the years that sole administrators have been appointed, so to say, to take charge of the local governments. And we see this, that there is a tie with the states and the control it has over local governments. But glad, enough that in Kaduna State, we might just be having, an excitement that the local governments would, perform at the level that we would want them to. And so 5th of June would be date for the local government elections. But let's go about, talk about why, we must have the local government elections and the excitement, surrounding local government elections. Just before we go, my guest this morning is a man vast in politics, and he is a political scientist and in-house with us here, Angubali. He's going to be my guest this morning. He's a political scientist, and so we'll be talking about, the local government elections that we're looking out for. But just, before we go on with the program, there are some things, that we want to talk about local governments and why it is important that we have them, performing at optimal level. But let's talk about, look at the excitements about local government elections. Angubali, good morning and glad to have you with me this morning on the program.
Good morning, Tony. Good morning, listeners.
Yes. Before I play this clip, the local government elections and the excitement, so to say, about it. Taking the background up from that, what are we expecting? What are we to see, and what is coming out, with the local government elections?
Well, the background is that, like Ella said, local government election are scheduled to be conducted on 5th June. Earlier on, a date was given for it to be conducted in May. However, there has been discordant tones from the oppositions and other stakeholders that constitute the conduct of the election. The stakeholders include the opposition parties, those who are to play their role in ensuring a hitch-free elections. They equally include civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations, the election monitors, and all that. And the discordant tone are risen from the fact that first, the SICOM, that is Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission, was not well constituted. Not well constituted in the sense that since September, the tenure of the chairman of SICOM expired and 4 other commissioners. And so the SICOM had been run without a chairman and a well-constituted platform management. So when the first date was given, it was announced by one of the commissioners, who was addressed as an overseer. So some of the opposition parties, they kicked against it. They said SICOM did not recognize any position as overseer, and even they did not constitute the main quorum that needed to be constituted before any decision will be taken by SECOM, which relates to the conduct of local government election. So they kick against it, and that one sort like was taken note of. Meanwhile, within that time, the government sent a list of 6 commissioners to the State Assembly, and they were screened clear, and then I think the following week they were sworn in. So when they were sworn in the following week, they now, I think, reconstituted and formed the quorum. Meanwhile, the chairman, the nomination of the chairman had issues. There was a petition in respect of that, and it was set aside. It was referred to the Committee on, I think, Judiciary, something like that. So it's still pending. The name of the chairman of the commission is still pending. Now, among those who were cleared and sworn in, we have an active chairman in the person of Ibrahim Sambo. So Ibrahim Sambo, who earlier on announced the first date under the position of overseer, is now the acting chairman, and I think is recognized by the law. So with the quorum constituted, then a new date has been announced for June 5th. Meanwhile, the current elected executive started with the responsibility of manning the local government, that is the chairman, councillors, and others. Their tenure is expected to expire. They were sworn in on June 26, 2018. So their tenure is expected to expire within that time. But before this, I think it would be good for our listener to have a background of what informed the discordant tone by the stakeholders. PDP in Kaduna State has recently allowed local government electoral whose section of the law allegedly gives the state governor the power to appoint a sole administrator to run the affairs of the council where elections cannot be conducted as a result of crisis-related issues. The state publicity secretary of the PDP, Albera Kato, explained the party's position.
We've taken note of the amendment as passed by the Kaduna State House of Assembly, and we want to reject some of the following amendments, particularly Law 2, subsection 5 in the amended law. It reads thus: in the event of postponement where it becomes impracticable to hold elections due to threats of violence or insecurity, the election shall be rescheduled to another election season, and the governor shall appoint an administrator for the local government concerned. We are kicking against it state because it contravenes the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. With this law, it's as if we are under a martial law, that a section of the law of the local governments would be amended without carrying the people along because they did not comply with the democratic process of amending a law where the Constitution provides that you should have a public hearing to hear the views of the people before you can amend any section of the law or the Constitution of the land. We are guided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. The Constitution did not permit or give the president any powers to appoint any administrator in any state during elections. So they should take a cue by allowing the CCOM to do their job accordingly, like the INEC. The House of Assembly shouldn't have given such powers to any government since the National Assembly did not give the president such powers. And the other law, if you look at the amended section of the law, section 3, subsection 1, subsection 2A, provides that you have to have a diploma or an NCE for you to run for councillorship, or degree or HND for you to run for the office of chairman. And that is against the 1999 Constitution. If you may have noticed, even the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, presented an affidavit for secondary school certificate for him to contest for the office of the President of Nigeria. And it stands. So that law should not stand. There are issues, especially the appointment of commissioners into office of the CCOM. The law of the CCOM provides in section 4, subsection 1, the second law 2018, and part 2 of the third schedule of the 1999 Constitution. There was no properly constituted CATSICOM as at the time and date when notice of election was issued. And the issue of quorum of members of the commission will only come to play when the commission is properly constituted. And based on that law, the two commissioners that claim to have given the notice and timetable for elections, they are working contrary to the provisions of law that establish the CCOM. There's nothing like an overseer. We only have a chairman and 6 commissioners. And whenever they are supposed to take any decision, the law provides that there has to be at least 5 commissioners with the chairman, or the 6 commissioners in total with the chairman. So there's no chairman and they cannot take any decision on behalf of CCOM and Kaduna State Government.
Similarly, the PDP governorship candidate in the 2019 elections, Right Honorable Isa Ashiru Kudan, has endorsed the party's position.
I am on the same position with my party. The reason being that the body, as provided in the Constitution, Section 7, has not been constituted. The date that was given was announced by an overseer. There is no provision of the state law that provides that an overseer will handle CCOM. Even if that law is there, it is in contravention of Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. So what are you talking? Are you saying that we should go the way they want as law-abiding citizens of the country, or that they should do the right thing? So the situation on ground is pathetic. People cannot come and talk. People have decided to keep mute for reasons best known to them. But the truth must be told, whether somebody likes it or not. That is my position. It is wrong and it has to be corrected. Otherwise, the third tier of government is there, the judiciary. Don't you think these scenarios were deliberately created? We are working with matured mind. We are not fools. The truth of the matter is that even the required period by law has not been met. So we want to test this in the court of law.
And that's all for the Polity today.
We just brought you a clip there for you to get to know, some of the issues surrounding local government elections. But again, we are getting a clear course about how this would run. With all the issues being taken care of, an overseer to elections in the state was not accepted. But now that we have an acting chairman, so to say, we are expecting that the local government elections would hold, and we'll talk about the credibility of having these elections. But again, from that clip, Ango, what are you making out of it now that we have a date? We have a date for June 5th for the elections to hold, but the controversies there that we saw from the opposition and, of course, the stakeholders involved.
Yeah, first of all, there's assurance that local government elections are going to be conducted. The opposition, the stakeholders, everybody have accepted the new development, that is the new timetable. the new timetable conform with the law. That's what that was the issue they raised in the first instance. However, there's still the snag there, even though may not stop them from partaking in the local government election. The local government administration law, which is allegedly amended and sent to the governor, it is before the governor, at the desk of the governor, to be signed. In the law, you have two aspects of the law. One, according to what you have, the publicity secretary of the PDP said, he said law 2, subsection 2 of the law states that it conferred on the governor the powers to appoint a sole administrator in the event where you have crisis and election could not be concluded. You remember in the 2018 local government election, Chukun local government, there were crisis in the sense that election was inconclusive. You know, there were allegations, or some people were caught on, you know, red-handed trying to manipulate result. I may not have to mention names, but at the end of it, because of that, on the excuse of that, election results were not announced and it was not concluded. It was said to be inconclusive, and a sole caretaker was appointed. Same thing happened in Kaura. Elections, in the first instance, they were ongoing, and some of the issues to do with returning officers. You know, it's not only in Kaura. There are different local government where you have the returning officers who are doing disappearing act. At the end, SECOM will be waiting for returning officer to come and announce result. They will not be found anywhere. A different person somehow will come, or is that result is deferred, and then another date scheduled for rerun and stuff like that. So, like the instance of Kaura, in the first instance, result could not be announced. So election will reschedule for another date for a rerun, the same time with Jaba local government. So Kaura people insisted that they want to see the returning officers, so that to avoid the issue of the main returning officer disappearing and a different person reshuffles with a different result. So for that, because of that, SECOM too, the officials of SECOM said, based on issue either security reasons known to them for the return officer, for anything to happen, to avoid anything happening to him, so they could not announce the return officer. As a result of that, the local government election could not be conducted in Kaura local government, and within the 3 years, a caretaker or chairman or sole administrator have been running the affairs of the local government. Coming to the issue of Java, you remember Invicta did a live commentary of the result. However, at the end, 2 results were announced, and SECOM said that it could not declare one person or one party winner of the election. So they have to go to the election tribunal and test the strength of the judiciary. At the end, one party was declared the winner. So to avoid this instance, what happened in 2018. So that's why they said, let's tighten the nose. And at the end, SECOM did, the government sent the names of commissioners. They were screened and they were sworn in. So this law, which is raising those, the opposition said, even though they have agreed, they are going to conduct, they are going to partake in the conduct of the election. However, they will challenge it in the court of law. Meanwhile, we've been trying to get confirmation from the lawmakers who are said to have alleged to have amended the law in the House of Assembly. None of them is willing to talk. None of them is willing to talk.
So that position again now, because talking about elections, what we hope, to get is to have free, fair, and credible elections. But again, there's a concern here, where we're not getting members of the State Assembly to talk about how this law came about.
There seems to be fear somewhere. Fear in the sense that in the House of Assembly, there's a way things are being run there. If you could not conform to the, I would say those who are following and monitoring the affairs of the House of Assembly. If you could not conform to status quo, you risk suspension. And the moment you are suspended, you'll be there in Siberia and nothing, you'll not be carried along. You'll just be listening from outside until your suspension is suspended. You recall sometimes ago, this late Dr. Bichong, the member representing Kaura, who represented Kaura constituency from 2015 to 2019, and equally the member representing Zongo constituency, and one other person, I think, they had issues, they raised issues to do with, I think, with their party's nomination of officials that constitute the membership of the assembly. So they were suspended. The moment they were slammed that suspension until the until the assembly period was almost over before they were recalled. Now again, there were alleged plan to impeach the current speaker, and the moment he got wind of that, some of the people that play a role on that, they were suspended. Up to now, they were still under suspension.
Just before
people risk that.
I will tie this, after we come back from this break, we'll tie it to what we know, what's been said. These are allegations, but
yeah, of course,
not confirmed. But Ango, just before we do that, put to our listeners this: appointing sole administrators to run affairs of the local government and having elected, chairman for local governments. What are the issues, with appointing sole administrators and having elected, chairpersons in the local governments?
The main issue is that it's a negation of the constitution.
One.
It's an aberration of the constitution.
One.
So, and be done as it is the case. Take into consideration the local government is the kindergarten of democracy. Is the area where we start learning the ropes of democracy. So those who are supposed to be there are very connected to the people. So if you bring somebody differently who will come and administer to them, he doesn't have their mandate.
Who was not elected.
Who was not elected. He doesn't have their mandate, and he cannot do what they want. Before somebody is elected, he went around to campaign with a manifesto, with a blueprint. I will do this for you, I will do that, I will improve this, I will do that, to improve your welfare and stuff like that. And now they elect him based on that blueprint and electioneering campaign points. Now, if that person is shoved aside and you have a sole administrator, so the sole administrator, of course, will come and do the bidding of the person that appointed him. So those people, they are at loss. They don't have anybody representing them. So, for example, in Kaura, you have people appointed from Jema local government that were sole administrator. Another person from Zongo to be sole administrator of the council. Now, even the current one is from Zongo. I think. Okay, it could be from Kaura. I'm not so sure. Now, it has taken away the reason why the people elected the person. That is, when the person campaigned, I have so and so things to do for you, and that was the reason why they elected him. Now you have somebody different from a different place coming to to administer to them, and he's doing everything based on what he's told to come and do, not what the people want. So you can see that the local government, being the bastion of democracy, being the kindergarten of democracy, that aspect has been eluded.
The program is
electorate.
okay. The program is Perspectives this morning, and we're talking about local government elections. Kaduna State. We're looking at June 5th that these elections will be coming up, and we're talking about how important it is to have free, fair, and credible elections at that level. We're talking about the third tier of government, and these elections that we hope that the participants and all stakeholders would come on board. It is important that the local government elections come on free, fair, and credible for the people, because the closeness of the people to whoever is elected can be guaranteed. Anko just talked about the sole administrators who are appointed, so to say, and may not carry the biddings of the people because they were appointed. But to have a local government...
Hence the fear of the alleged law that has been amended by the by the House of Assembly, which empower the governor to appoint sole administrator in the event that election is not concluded. And of course, like I said, this is one aspect of this India. Another snag in the law which talks about qualification for those to qualify to contest for chairmanship and councillorship. Now, in that law, it is said that for somebody to qualify to be to contest as chairman, he must have a degree or HND or an equivalent qualification. Then, for you to qualify to contest as councillors, you should have a diploma, that is OND or related equivalent qualification. And to the opposition, they don't have any problem with that. Of course, you need serious higher qualification to prepare the people so that the kind of people that you have as chairman and councillors, of course, they'll be able to measure up because they have the capacity. However, to them, this again negates the Constitution of the Federal Republic. It's saying that whatever SECOM and Kaduna State House of Assembly, any law they are to amend, they are to take a cue from the National Assembly. The National Assembly, first of all, did not empower the president to appoint a sole administrator to administer to any state where should there be in case of any crisis or any issue. It didn't empower the National Assembly to do that. And so the issue of sole administrator being appointed to administer local government does not arise. You allow SECOM, give the free hand, just like National Assembly give the INEC free hand. If there's any crisis, you defer it to another date for the election. You reschedule it for another date for a convenient time for the election to be conducted. And the issue of qualification, just like the National Assembly did not change the law to say for you to contest as governor, as president, House of Rep, Senator, you must have a social qualification or higher than certificate or school cert. And in fact, in the case of President Buhari, which the case came up in the last presidential election, he was said it was interpreted that you don't even have to have the certificate. There's evidence that you attended secondary school. There's evidence that you completed your secondary school. Even if your certificate is F9, even if you have A1 or F9, just evidence that you completed your secondary school. So that one is okay for you to be president. So if school cert is pegged as the minimum for you to be president, so why should you peg a HND or a degree for somebody to be chairman, or OND or certificate of its equivalent for you to contest for councillorship? So they are kicking against this law. That the Constitution is to refer to the Constitution. Any law that subsists the Constitution of the Federal Republic is a nullity, is null and void. So that they will not accept it. However, in the second timetable that was announced by SECOM, I asked myself, I prodded, and they said this aspect is not part of it.
Okay, perspectives this morning, and we're looking at challenges of elections at local government levels. But we have agreed, and we all know, constitutional says it and allows it, that the third tier of government is, one that is supported by the Constitution. We'll talk about, some of the things that we must, be looking at as we get ready for June 5th, so to say, for, elections at the local government levels in Kaduna State. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Are you serious? For real, are you serious? Victor FM.
Holding it down 100 on the Victor 98.9 FM.
Welcome back. It's the program Perspectives this morning, and we're looking at local government elections that's scheduled for June 5th, 2021, and that will be in Kaduna State. But again, we're looking at challenges on local government elections. So we're talking about the Constitution supporting this third tier of government, that it is the Constitution that allows for local government election, local governments to be part of this democracy that we're running. But let's look at another thing, another area of concern with the elections that are coming. This goes, for all states of the country, but particular attention is on Kaduna State. My guest this morning, Angu Bali, is a political scientist and is also a commentator on national and international matters. Angu, for you, the local government elections and what is coming out of the nation. The state of the nation is of serious concern to all. Today, the challenges of insecurity, promises that were made and not, some people would say, not kept. Euphoria that was given to us about that we're going to get the best of everything, and here we are with the best of everything, so to say. So for these local government elections, in Kaduna State, and we see, what is on ground now, will it have a telling effect on choice of candidates from whatever parties that are coming out? And so your take on this, that it might take its toll. What is coming out of the state of the nation might take its toll on local government elections.
Mr. Tony Alabi, if you talk about state of the nation, will it be specific? Are you talking about insecurity,
the
economy,
all of that
issues that we're having,
all of that,
and how we should put
all of that,
everything.
Is showing with the state of the nation.
Talking about insecurity, now the state governor, for example, is said to be by the constitution the chief security officer of the state. By extension, the local government chairman is the chief security officer of the local government. However, at the state level, the governor will tell you that he doesn't have the power to direct either the state commissioner or whoever, either the GOC and stuff, until they get order from the federal level. Is it not? Same thing too at the local government level. They are only chief security officer theoretically on paper, but in practice they are not. So whatever it is, they take, until they get order from at the state level. So let me even tell you, in local governments, according to my investigation, and I'm challenging some journalists and other people, even commentators, to go and make those findings. In local government where there are crises, meanwhile, the chief security officer, the chairman, doesn't have any power to control the security. However, wherever, any local government where there are crises, there are funds that are being deducted to take care of those issues, to manage the security crisis. So there are some local government that are running in minus because in the allocation that they collect, there's a certain amount that's been deducted to take care of crises that are taking place in the local government. So for you to think that the electionary campaign will constitute what is happening, how they will take care of insecurity, the economy and everything. Let me tell you, talking about the issue of the economy, by the constitution, local government are supposed to collect rates from the market, tax from the market. But do your own investigation, you will find out that most of the taxes at the local government are collected to the state. Just do your own investigation. It's just something I've thrown to even those who are listening. They should do that, including this issue of funds that are being deducted at the local government for a crisis that are happening in the local government. So how can they do campaign that would hinge on addressing these issues when they don't even have the power to do that?
You're challenging autonomy of the local governments here too.
Yes. The autonomy of the local government is, to an extent, is there theoretically on paper, but in practical terms, you hear that they are allowed to, have their own money. But what is given with the right hand is taken away with the left hand on some issues. So where the local government, in my own understanding and my
elected local governments cannot cry foul when this is done.
Didn't I tell you the state assembly? You have the three divisions of the state: the executive, legislature, and judiciary. You know, now if the legislature who is making the law is even scared stiff to talking about this local government amended law, that they are even scared of talking about, commenting about. They are sending it to the governor, sign it and gazette it before they can comment about it. But I said, people are the one that make the law. Before you make the law, now you should be able to, you have some issues that make you to amend this law and pass it. So comment on it. They say they cannot comment about it. So is it the local government you think that they can do that? So just leave that matter for matter. Now, you ask me what will constitute the campaign. Everything is about self-survival. With politicians, 2023 election is going to be on focus, developing structures, who become governor, who become senator, who become House of Reps. Within this confine, across party level, it's not about APC, PDP, and any other. Across party level, whoever is going to contest for governorship, now he's gearing up to ensure that, his own people get the nomination, take the ticket. Because in the course of this, I asked some of the aspirants who are interested in contesting for the local government. They are ready to hit the street running for the campaign, but parties have not given them the guidelines to go for the campaign. And for that, they are scared so that they may not run foul of the party. And most of the parties that I got across, including the APC, the PDP, and Young Progressive Party, all they said within this week, they should be true with their party guidelines and everything, and give the party's members the go-ahead to start campaigning, to start campaigning. But I'm assuring you, campaign and everything, whoever that we match as candidate, mostly, it would be the wetting the ground, laying foundation for 2023, who become governor, who become the senator. They will ensure that their own person pick the ticket, so that you lay the background for them, lay the foundation for them. And strengthen their structure.
Talking about autonomy, it would be said that even though then we could say that, it was a military regime that recognized, autonomy for local government. We saw what happened then, but since we moved into democracy, this had not been taken care of. But then when local governments were autonomous and we saw funding for local governments were there, even though as at that time abused, and we saw the abuse that came with the autonomy for local government in the military era, that we once had. But again, in democracy, that's not been seen. Is it fair, that allowing autonomy, full autonomy or total autonomy, so to say, but autonomy would be said to be full, is that you just do not place this autonomy into the hands of individuals who might abuse it? Is that the fear about having autonomy for local governments?
I don't think the fear of abuse should be the issue. Now, the governors, they have the full powers to run their state the way they run it. And they have cause to challenge the president. Don't you see, previous regime before the current regime took over in 2015, you have, remember Oshomole and Governor Oshomole, who was governor of, governor of Edo State, and Rotimi Amechi being the chairman of Governors Forum, Nigeria Governors Forum. They challenged the former president about these funds now. Remember these funds? I can't remember the name of the fund, which was kept to take care of the rainy day. But they say, no, we need it now. We need this money now. So give us this money so that we'll be able to, we are hungry. How can we be hungry and be waiting for any rainy day? And those monies were disbursed to them. So now, if they have the power to challenge the president, and the president would hit to their demand, why is it that the governors will be scared, or they will not want to allow the local government chairman the autonomy to practice it, to exercise it as enshrined by the constitution? Why would they do that? So these are the issues. It's just a matter, and that if you look at, you see that the governors, in talking about constitutional amendment, they want even these powers to be, this autonomy, this fairly exercise autonomy that the local government are exercising. They want even to take it away. They want the local government to be merged under the state. Yes. Meanwhile, again, they are campaigning in the restructuring they are bidding for. They want more powers to be given to the state. The revenue sharing formula, they want it to be amended, and they have more money than even the federal government. But they are kicking against the local government. So is it just the issue of the governors? They want more powers, and meanwhile, they don't want the local government to exercise even the little part they are exercising now. So that's just the issue.
It's a long one, and more to talk about with autonomy for local governments. But again, attention is on the local government elections coming up in Kaduna State, 5th of June, scheduled date for that. But concerns about elections at local government levels is what we're looking at. And Ango Bali, in-house guest, a political scientist and a commentator on national and international matters with us this morning. Numbers to call to be part of this program: 081 40,000 989, 081 40,000 989, or 070 87 800 989, 070 87 800 989. Let's hear your calls and your concerns, with the elections at local government level.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Ahama Sadona Nadalili calling from Sadona Crescent.
Okay, Amir, let's hear you.
Yeah, good morning, Olori, for a job well done.
Thank you.
And Ango Bali in the house.
Good morning, Ahmed Sadona.
Yeah. Talking about the election, just as he is trying to say. But I want to remember him about the account he's talking about. I think he's trying to talk about SS Crude account.
Yes. You're right. Thank you for reminding us.
Yeah, that is by the way. And talking about the local government election, I think one thing that will play a very great role in this election, I think the battle will be most fought in between the ACs. Just as he said, some of the key actors that want to contest for 23 election will want their voice to be in charge of the local government. And talking about the issue of autonomy for local government, we have the current people that are serving in the local government. They are complaining about autonomy, that the fund is not being released to them, but here they are contesting for the election again. So I think we need to learn when to give up if we are not given the opportunity to serve as expected. But we pray our politicians will play a better politics, and the real winners will be allowed to take over so that they will give us good governance in the grassroots. Because up to now, I don't even know my councillor representing my ward, and I don't know even about my local government chairman, Kaduna, not yet. And they are people that we're supposed to be close to them, but they are as far as even the governor. They are more far to the people than even the governor himself. So I think more needs to be done. Have a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. All right, Ahmed Sadona there. Thank you. Okay, we'll still with your calls. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Adon.
Good morning.
Ango Bali, good morning. My name is Musa Bala.
Good morning, Musa Bala.
Yes, what an interesting topic. Local government elections have remained a very big challenge in Nigeria. I think we can still see it in many states where it still happens as a sweeping game. And honestly, I don't want to believe that state governors are helpless when it comes to direction of security agencies. No, they have all the power to ensure that things are done the way it's supposed to be done. We have seen it in Lagos. We have seen it in Imo State. We have seen it in Rivers State. We have seen it in many other states. Whenever a governor is interested in quelling a crisis, he quickly invited the military full force with the other security agencies to do the same thing. Local government election in Kaduna State is not yet Uhuru, but there's an improvement compared to other states where the ruling party takes everything. And most times, we don't describe that as a very serious concern. But in Kaduna State, yeah, the last local government election, we have seen how not only one party, but almost the two major political parties and other areas have made an impact. This is what we should be able to encourage the society, including all players, the citizens, the local traditional rulers, the media, and everybody to ensure that, okay, let us have a very free and fair election. But I believe Kaduna will still be better than many states. And at the same time, why are we not talking to many states that for more than 10 years refuse to take local government elections? Is that a civic duty on the part of the media and those people who have opportunity to talk in the media? Please, I hope your guests will shed more light on this. Good morning.
Okay, thank you, Musa Bala. I'll just take one more and then come back to our guest in the house. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Lloyd.
Good morning.
Ango Bale, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
It's Francis calling.
Okay.
Honestly, your guests have really explained well. The issue is that local government election is still the same thing with national election, the general election. The same thing the INEC does is what the local state electoral commission is doing, because they're copying from national. Just like what the last caller said, Kaduna is different. Kaduna is not different. If Kaduna is different, Chukun would have not been imposed a caretaker person for 3 years, because the people stood their ground to choose whom they want that makes them, they deny them elected chairman and the other local governments across. It's not because there was no election in Chukun. It's because the people stood their ground in the last election to make sure the person they elected is being installed for them. But they denied them that. Where is the difference? And now we are talking of a new law that no representative at the state house is ready to tell the citizens or the indigenous of Kaduna State when that law was enacted. What are we talking about? What exactly is different from Kaduna with other states? They are all the same. Our politicians are self-centered and selfish. All, no single person out of them that is different. They are minded and their target is that money, where the money is coming from. Let it be coming direct to them alone and them alone. So
All
that
right,
they
Francis.
can share to their friends and family.
Okay, we got your Francis. Angubali, Ahmed, Musa Bala, and Francis.
I want to take it from Francis. Yeah, the issue of Chukun, you see, like in my own background, I may mention of 2 people were caught, with election materials, trying to rig the election. Now, SICOM was supposed to do the needful. Now, Kaduna, give it to Kaduna, it tried the blaze on electronic voting. Now, before the conduct of election, when SICOM was doing demonstration for the use of electronic voting, it said that anybody who should not even make any attempt to want to rig. If you want to do take a ballot box snatching and stuff, that you be doing it at your own risk, you just be wasting time, because you have a central collection server that whenever you vote, your vote would go straight to the central server. And if there is any instance where people are snatched ballot box and everything, or disappear with election results, just like the returning officer disappear, that they will just pick the result from the central server and announce. But when the issue of Chukun happened and the issue of Jaba local government happened, the journalists who were there at the press conference with the SICOM commissioner, we reminded her that during the demonstration, this is what we said. So now that you have problem of people, 2 parties claiming ownership of result, winning the election, so why don't you check into the central server and pick the result announced? The chairman, he heaved aside a bit and said, well, there's election tribunal, that whoever has any grounds should go to election tribunal, that the election tribunal will decide that. Now, if Kaduna is claiming to trade the blaze on electronic voting, what is what doing? Is what doing well. So it's supposed to, this aspect, you shouldn't have had inconclusive election in Chukun, Kaura, local government. You should have done the needful. So for 3 years, no any elected person. So that is the issue. We are hoping that in the 5th June local government election that is coming, they should be able to try and address this aspect so that can now be able to take the credit on, in trailing the blaze on electronic voting. Yes.
Well, again, time would just not permit us to do this, and so I would have to, bring my guest back again on a scheduled date.
Yeah, of course, the local government election is a developing event.
Is a developing issue, so we'll keep talking
updating
about
the
it.
public.
Yes, and I'd like to thank you, Ango Bali, for finding time to be part of the program this morning.
Thank you, Tony Alibi. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. And Morpheus, would like to thank you for connecting us with the people this morning. Get ready for that, 5th of June. That's when we're expecting local government elections in Kaduna State, and hoping again that it will be fair, free, and credible too for us all to accept. We'll come back with perspectives tomorrow. Good morning.
We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Are you serious? For real, are you serious? Victor FM.
It's a happy feeling when receiving all of the love coming from family.
So many recipes, creating memories, every day and every night, bonding families.
Yeah. 60 years of joy, giving love, so much value, quality. Golden penny is you, golden penny is me, golden pennies at the heart of the family. Golden penny is you, golden penny is me, golden pennies at the heart of the family. Yeah. Oh, golden penny 60.
Golden Penny Foods is celebrating 60 years at the heart of the family.
Heart of the family.
The time is 10 o'clock.
This is Invicta 98.9 FM, Kaduna, Nigeria. Good morning. I am Morpheus Major Idoko. With the news brief, operatives of the Nigerian Police Force have arrested 50 criminal suspects who are members of various notorious criminal gangs and networks across the country. The arrests were carried out by operatives of the Intelligence Response Team and the Special Tactical Squad of the force attached to Operation Puff Ada 2, a series of tweets from the police said. Reports say the arrests were outcomes of successful follow-up on cases bordering on kidnapping, armed robbery, banditry, unlawful possession of firearms, among others. Operation Lafia Dole has killed 41 Boko Haram terrorists in the Lake Chad region in Borno State. In a statement in Maiduguri, the Director, Army Public Relations Brigadier General Mohammed Yerima, said the troops have decisively taken out several terrorists after heavy fighting in the axis on Monday. Also yesterday, Operation Thunderstrike in Kaduna killed 2 armed bandits and rescued 4 victims in 35 Village, Chukun Local Council. From the foreign team, the United Nations says the disruption in healthcare service caused by COVID-19 may have led to an estimated 239,000 maternal and child deaths in South Asia. According to new reports, it focused on Afghanistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, home to some 1.8 billion people. The effort found that women, children, and adolescents were the worst hit. And now looking at sports, Team New Zealand sealed the 36th America's Cup victory with a 7-3-0 over Italy's Luna Rossa after 42nd win in the race 10. Team New Zealand retained the Mulled August International Sports Holders Trophy with a dominant display in the best of 13 series. And that makes the news brief at 10. A major bulletin comes up at midday. Good morning and have a victorious day.
Here we go. Now there is more than one way you can stay connected with 98.9 Invicta FM.